Hey everyone, Brian Zayn here, and you are reading this correctly. This is the final SmackDown review here on this channel. After more than 5 years of reviewing Raw and SmackDown every week, I decided to hell with it. I'm done. Have you finally broken me, guys? I'm no longer going to be doing these reviews for the time being. I'm finally sick of it. And what better way to wrap this whole sordid saga up than on one of the final days of WrestleMania Week 2021, The Grind. Ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone, Brian Zayn here. It is time. We are here. It is the final SmackDown review. I can't believe we finally did it. And here we are. This, I've talked about it for the last couple of weeks. I was going to wrap up reviewing Raw and SmackDown, and it doesn't feel like it's the last one. There's a small part of me that kind of wants to keep going, but no, you know what? And I'll get into why as the stream goes on. But this is the last one for a while. Taking back my Monday and Friday nights. I've had a lot of people ask me questions about what this means for the channel going forth, and I'm happy to address those questions. Does this mean I'm not reviewing shows at all anymore? No, there seems to be this misconception that I'm done reviewing shows entirely, and that's not true at all. I'm still reviewing NXT and AEW every week after this weekend, and I'll be still reviewing pay-per-views. A lot of people are asking, are you not going to be doing current pay-per-view reviews anymore because you're not watching Raw and SmackDown? No, I'm going to keep abreast of the situation. I'm going to keep informed. I will read results. I will watch highlights. I'm not going to go into pay-per-view totally blind before I review them. That's just not my style. So so anyone worried about a lack of quality control or a lack of reviews, no need to worry. There's still going to be plenty of videos dropping on this channel. Does this mean I am done forever with Raw and SmackDown? Maybe, maybe not. I can't answer that one conclusively because at this time, I feel that it's right for me, for my time and energy, to step away so I can focus on other things to do with this channel, some of which you'll get a glimpse of what that means in the weeks to come. But this is, of course, the final SmackDown review, and it's been a good run. And we'll talk more about that as we plunge on through to the review. But let's begin with the show. This is, of course, WrestleMania Smackdown. This is a special. That's not what I meant to do. Where did you go? Here's where you meant to go. This is, of course, a WrestleMania caliber Smackdown, I guess you want to call it. As the pre-show moved to Fridays, essentially, because I guess it makes sense not to have live matches on the pre-show because you don't want to spoil the first crowd mania. So they've moved two of these matches onto SmackDown and calling it WrestleMania. Okay, we see what you're doing, guys. So the show actually begins with Daniel Bryan opening the show. And that's another thing we get on the night. We get statements from all three of the participants in the triple threat. Opens the show. He gets hyped for WrestleMania with fans. And he talks about how his whole career and his life, he was always told no. And yet, through everything and all the adversity, it's how he learned to say yes. Dude, I thought that when you said yes all the time, it was a heel thing, but I guess you taught me something new. So when people tell him no, he says yes. He says that Edge and Roman Reigns are going to get the most dangerous Daniel Bryan on Sunday with fire in his eyes and fire in his heart. It's a very fiery promo. He wrapped up asking, can Daniel Bryan win at WrestleMania? Yes, yes. Cut to a bunch of the Thunderdome fans all going, no, you cannot win, Daniel. That was the funny thing. The clearest shot you had was all these fans going like, boo, no, I don't want to see this redemption story from you, Daniel. That being said, fantastic promo, far from the last one on the night. They're really, all those promos are really tough to beat, but they all kind of do in their own ways. So we'll get to that as we get to it. We see the Street Profits in gorilla position. They get jumped mid-promo by Rudolph, the tag team champions. The Alpha Academy and the Mysterios join in. We go to break and come back, and it's time for one of the two Mania quality matches, a fatal four-way for the Smackdown Tag Titles with those aforementioned teams. You've got a lot of, great athleticism with these four teams here. The Mysterios especially shine through from what I could tell. Angelo Dawkins is a hot tag, but Rey Mysterio, I should say, steals the tag back from him. Rey and Dominic with a double 619, a neat finish when Gable does deadlift German to Dawkins. He's laying there and he's in the perfect position for Montez Ford's from the heavens. He hits that, but then Rude blind tags himself in. Dolph super kicks Ford, and Rude covers Gable to win for the Dirty Dogs. They're not, to me, they're always Rudolph. They're always going to be Rudolph. So Rudolph wins, and they retain the tag team championships. Though the match was all right. I guess it was fine for TV, and I guess if you had that same match at WrestleMania, that would be a pre-show match for WrestleMania for sure, because it just felt like, yeah, okay, it's there. Like, wow, what spectacular build you guys have had for this match. So, maybe it belonged on SmackDown. Who's to say? But I wouldn't have called that a WrestleMania match. It was fine. It wasn't bad. Just not a WrestleMania match. That's all I'm going to say. Bianca Belair backstage asked about being in her first WrestleMania, and she says it's okay to be nervous, which she is, but it's not okay to be scared. It's a lesson her dad taught her many years ago, and says it'll be the greatest night of her life to win the title on Saturday. By the way, this could very much tell in the show this was not live. This was pre-taped. And what we found out earlier today on Friday is that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair has been announced as the main event for night one. Well, which has surprised me, because I thought we all heard on Monday them saying the main event for night one is Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. And they're like, nope, we're going to do this now. And boy, you could tell that was a last minute decision, because the build, not just in the weeks leading up to this, but in the episode here, you wouldn't tell this is the main event of WrestleMania. They didn't try and edit anything to shoehorn that announcement into this show. It's just like a bland promo from each of them. You get one from Sasha Banks later, but it's way better late than never, I guess. And no, I mean, don't get me wrong, because like I said in my predictions video, this match had the potential to be the main event of either of the nights. There's a lot of historical significance to this matchup. The first WrestleMania main event with both competitors being black. It's the second all-female main event in WrestleMania history. There is some historical heft to this match. And so for it to be the main event makes sense. But like I said in my predictions video, they should have thought about that before they totally screwed the pooch on their build for the last 5 or 6 weeks. Because this does not it barely feels like a WrestleMania match, much less a main event WrestleMania match. So it's kind of a downer, and it makes you wonder if that is going to be something where they're doing it to protect a finish with Drew and Bobby fans might not like. Something to think about. But I mean, it's good for them. They deserve their flowers and whatnot, but I think that it's too little too late in terms of building it, making it worth a damn. Doesn't feel like a main event. So that's not our fault. That's their fault. And it's not the wrestler's fault. That's the company's fault, is who I'm referring to, not the wrestlers. They're doing the best they can with that. Big E, we had a vignette of him going back to his roots. I mean, he's from Tampa originally. You see him getting a haircut, going to Raymond James Stadium, where he played his all-star football game in high school. Real big intensity from E's promo here, where he says Apollo Crews' Intercontinental title dreams will go to die at WrestleMania. And a great promo package here. Big E brought the fire. And like I said, one of many great promos on this night. We get a recap of the Bray Wyatt-Randy Orton feud happening on Raw. And then we go to our next match, one of our 3 on the night here. You got Nia Jax versus Tamina. And it's Jay Biggs' dream match, apparently. I mean, he's been telling me how badly he wants to see the former Samoan Slaughterhouse, Nia and Tamina, butt heads. That's his ideal Mania moment. Talk to Jay sometime and he'll tell you about his idea of he basically foretold the Roman Reigns Jey Uso angle as of right now. But he was 5 years ahead, man. It involved Jimmy as well. That's a different story. So, and Nia and or Tamina was going to be involved as well. He was big on that bloodline storyline. So anyway, Nia and Tamina, I love you, Jay. Nia and Tamina having this dream match. Tamina showing her strength against Nia early on. We a tug of war between Tamina and Shayna on the outside, with Reginald bouncing over the rope, which is pretty funny. Tamina hits the Samoan drop on Nia, which is impressive, but Shayna runs in there and causes the match to be disqualified or end in disqualification. The tag champs and Reggie escape. And the question is, are Natalya and Tamina the favorites in the tag team turmoil match on Saturday? no. After that display, not exactly. Still, probably the best Tamina's looked in several years. And then backstage, we see the Riot Squad interviewed. We see Billie Kay and Carmella show up. Now they are confirmed to be part of the tag team turmoil. That each said they're going to win. Then we see Mandy and Dana Brooke. Then we see Lana and Naomi. They all start fighting. But then the tag team champions run in. Actually, not the tag team champions. Tamina and Natalya run in and beat all of them up. And they just throw them hither and yon and look very tough with whoever's left standing. Well, maybe now they are the favorites. Like, it's an improvement, I think, on build from what we saw last week with them. Like, I had my druthers about Natalya beating Shayna the way she did. And I thought, well, that must have been some real last minute way to justify them being, considered a threat in the tag team turmoil match. And this did a better job of that. It wasn't, it's like the match still ended at a DQ with Nia and Tamina, but at least what you saw afterward with the beatdown and them posing as legitimate threat, that it was enough. That would be enough. I just watched Hamilton for the first time last week, so now I got like that hook in my head. That would be enough. Man, one of these days I'm going to do a Broadway episode. You just watch. Sing along. Seth, oh man, this was, to me, was one of the highlights of the show. Was a Seth Rollins political ad, was the best way to describe it. Basically, it's like it was an attack ad on Cesaro. He's never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, and he certainly never won the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins is a man you can trust with more WrestleMania accolades. It's so fun. It's like, not timely necessarily. We had an election several months ago. It's not really timely, let's just say, but it was still hysterical. I want to say, let's see more of those. I mean, it's a shame we only got the go home show before WrestleMania to get, a funny political ad about that. And, that's the closest we've gotten to anything about embracing the vision. That's Seth's whole mantra since his comeback. But like, what is he talking about? Like, we've never gotten like step one of what that actually is. Maybe after Mania we will. But yeah, that ad was brilliant. It's time for Edge to cut a promo now. He gets the sitting down on the chair with a spotlight treatment on him. He opens with his memories of attending WrestleMania 6 and talks about how hard he has worked to get the chance to end his career on his own terms. He talks about when he dreams something, he manifests it. And that's kind of a phrase he'll come back to later. He didn't want to forge some new career out of this. It's all he's ever wanted to do is to wrestle. So he fought so hard to get back into it. Talks about how unfair it is that Daniel Bryan, who he refers to as an indie bookstore clerk troll, has stolen his spotlight and stuck his nose in he and Roman's business. He then pivots to Roman and calls him a Samoan Edge because, yes, Roman, you also debuted in a three-man group, and you also came through the crowd, and you also have a spear as a finisher. Although we are omitting a slight detail in Edge's story where he actually debuted as a solo guy before the Brood, but that's a different story. That's, it's one of those details you don't really need to talk about. But anyway, Edge says he's not received the respect he feels he deserves. He's going to take it at WrestleMania, and he is dreamt winning at WrestleMania, so now he will manifest it. Ooh, chills. Tremendous promo here by one of the best in Edge. I mean, since his comeback, you can't say he's been bad at promos. Like, he's been amazing at them since he came back last year at the Rumble. We see Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville chatting backstage, and they're just now arguing over whether or not Daniel Bryan should be in the main event on Sunday. A little late for that, or are we going to get something where like Sonya Deville backs a big truck up in the middle of the match with like a chain? No, we got to drag Daniel Bryan out of here. We got to get him out. And then Rikishi or one of the Usos is going to fall into a bale of hay. I don't know. We'll figure out how that works. But we're starting to see that kind of that friction now between the two authority figures, Sonya and Adam. And so I guess we'll see where that goes. We get the Sasha Banks interview where she doesn't care what Bianca has to say. She's thrown in this kind of signature laugh of hers now, which I'm trying to remember because I remember seeing her early work in developmental when she first debuted the boss character in a promo. I think she might have done the laugh then too, but haven't really heard it in a while, especially now now that she's full heel, apparently it feels like, at least. So anyway, now she'll take everything Bianca's going to give her at Mania and give it back boss style. She is the BEST, but again, doesn't feel like a main event build. Maybe they shouldn't have waited until the day before to make this change. They could have had time to change literally anything about the structure of this build. We get a Lashley Drew McIntyre hype package up next for the WWE Championship. We got a clip of Sami Zayn in Miami visiting the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, and they're They're training to box and everything. Sami wants to spar with them. He goes to leave to get his gear, but he ends up turning around. The door's locked on the outside. Security shows up and says they're closed, so Sami's kicked out. Then we go back to the arena. Sami then bombards the announce table, gets on the headset mic, and pleads his case, saying the media, that biased media, is using selective images. We had breakfast, the Pauls and I. Logan Paul had grapefruit salad for breakfast. And as the Battle Royal participants show up for the last match, Kevin Owens shows up, jumps Sami, and chases him off. And that's the final bit of build for that. Again, like, you know, we know Logan Paul's going to be there. Don't know what he's going to be doing, but we will see. Water break. It is now time for our second WrestleMania style matchup here. The WrestleMania staple, the one that we all love so dear, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, with a bunch of guys I didn't bother to write down the names of. It's so we get hello Tucker, goodbye Tucker. Just to remind you, he's still with the company. He's there for a little bit, and then Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander take him out. But then Shelton and Cedric are gone soon after. T-Bar and Slapjack have a bit of a run. They eliminate Humberto Carrillo. They throw him outside into Drew Gulak. They take out Elias and Jackson Riker. Then Mustafa Ali actually eliminates the two of them. How's that for some retribution? And then he's immediately taken out too, so fuck it. The final four are Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey Uso, Ricochet, and King Corbin. Uso takes out Rico, Shinsuke takes out Corbin, and finally, after a bit of a scuffle, Uso eliminates Shinsuke to Winsuke. And Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, the man with one of the worst win-loss records in the last 5 or 6 months, is your newest Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. Good for him. He's officially added just tons of legitimacy to the trophy. And there you have it with that. Good for him. If you want to learn more about the sordid history of this cursed championship, this cursed accomplishment, you can check my review, The History of the Honor of the Giant Battle Royal, from a couple of years ago. And so then after he wins, Roman Reigns shows up. We come back from commercial break, and it's Roman's time. He gets the final say here on this show, delivering an address about Mania. He says, when Roman is around, WWE is winning. And he says, when you prep at a 12, when it's time to perform at a 10, it comes easy to him. And everyone can have one good week. Daniel Bryan had a good week last week. Edge had a good week 2 weeks before, week before that. But Roman has had all the good weeks. He is the collector of good weeks. He collects them all at his head of the table. He calls Edge and Bryan dreamers, and Roman makes everyone's dreams come true, but not Edge and Daniel on Sunday. He wraps it up by saying he's going to wreck everyone and leave, and the whole world will apologize. I mean, acknowledge him. They will acknowledge him as the tribal chief. Music plays, fade to black. Another promo knocked out of the park tonight on SmackDown. That's one thing you can't say anything bad about this show is the promos. They nailed them. So I think that's it was great work on all parties there. Not just the triple threat, but also Big E. Got about 416 people watching this, the final SmackDown review. Thank you all for watching this. I appreciate your support here. And let's see here. Let's go on over as I take another swig of this water. We're going to go to our grade. And maybe it's because I'm feeling a bit optimistic or just feeling the endorphins of this being the last one. I'm a bit more forgiving, but I'm giving this one a B-. Got to give it to the promos because those were the kind of the saving grace of this show, and to a lesser extent the Battle Royal, because I'm a sucker for Battle Royals and I think they can be, they can be a lot of fun. So I think, they did what they could to build Mania. I mean, you're building it by having those matches there, but like the SmackDown tag title match, that didn't feel like a Mania match. Nia and Tamina as a way to further build the tag team turmoil match was pretty lame, I thought. And again, poor hindsight when it comes to Sasha and Bianca. What I mean by that is they waited so long to announce they're the main event. What they filmed for this pre-taped SmackDown didn't at all give the gravitas of, this being the main event match. It was just, another thing. And here we go. So yeah, all the promos are great. I think they all came through here. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of C's and D's, and those don't get degrees, unfortunately. But now that we've done that, it's time to do a little bit of super chats. First, let me just get rid of this shit. You don't need to see the grade anymore. There we are. So now, where are we? First of all, we got to say this. Where'd it go? Oh, where'd it go? I saw the chat and it was gone. Here we go. I gotta say R.I.P. DMX. We all thought he died yesterday. He didn't. He died today. And rest in peace to him. Very influential rap artist. And I know a lot of people who are affected, shaken by DMX's death today at the age of 50. So gotta pour one out for him. Ken Terminated by DQ is the first super chat. Thought about letting the peak. I thought about getting the Peacock's network. Are we still able to use Let Me Add It for the new network? Oh, you've revealed the secrets of wrestling with regret. By the way, RIP to the Dartman X. Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested Let Me Add It / what is it called? Yeah, airsoft.co. It's this program that I've been using for the last couple of years to lift things from the network for all the footage I use. And I've not tested it out, but just to be safe, before the network got shut down, I stockpiled as much shit as I could for the next couple of months because I knew I was going to need it. So I don't know yet, but there's other ways. You know, I've had plenty of friends tell me over the years, but my dumbass still doesn't understand how torrenting works. So that might be another avenue. But yeah, there might be a bit of a learning curve or a bit of a growth period this year as I try and get used to this new network-free land in the U.S. where it's all through Peacock. I actually had to get it yesterday when I was watching TakeOver because the other source I used to watch my shows crapped out on me for a bit, so I had to improvise. Let's normalize 1.5 speed for all streaming devices and services, not just for YouTube, not just for Dailymotion. Let's do that for Hulu and Netflix and the old network and the new network on Peacock. Can we just normalize 1.5 speed? Like it just gets, you're through with your day so much faster. It's just a real time saver. Okay, Daniel Zuko, 5 R's. Hey, Brian, do you have plans for a TNA Monday Night War in 2010 review? Yes, I do. Stay tuned for that. That is happening in season 11, which kicks off next week. And while we're here, while we're all talking about season 11, I guess I'll talk to you about what's going to premiere that season. Yeah, look at this piece of shit. You thought UMD1 was UDM1? I can't even say it because it's a piece of crap. You thought UDM1 was bad? You ain't seen shit because this is even worse. Ultimate Deathmatch 2 is going to be the season premiere for season 11, dropping next Wednesday, but you can catch it Monday on patreon.com/wrestlingwithregret. Monkey Man, 58, $5. How much do you have to pay for this final SmackDown review to be called the Final Smackdown Summary? Well, oh God, I wish I had the source in front of me or I was a better wordsmith. I was going to say this is the solitary summationary SmackDown summary. I'm trying to make up some words. You know what I meant, but this is the final SmackDown summary. You win, Monkey Man. Andy Man. Oh God, we're going through all the Mega Man bosses here. First you had Monkey Man, it's gonna be Andy Man, then it's gonna be Tree Man next. 499. Hi Brian, thanks for all the great live reviews. I always want to say my face in the thumbnail of the last Nitro review always cracks me up. Thank you. That's that moment, the face I made, that's from the best of 2020 countdown where I'm talking about Sasha and Bayley having dominated and having had their blow-off feud. I'm leaning in. Are you happy? That's what that's from. Yeah, and live, and one thing I want to address as well with the loss of the SmackDown and Raw reviews in this one is like live, we'll be doing more live streams. I don't know how at this point or what it's going to look like, but I love doing these live shows and I want to do more of them. And so we will find a way for sure. So thank you for your concerns about that. Jacob Donnelly, did you see the new Dark Side of the Ring season announcement? Any episodes I'm looking forward to? Yeah, I want to know how they're going to condense the story of the Ultimate Warrior into one episode next season of Dark Side of the Ring. You can't do that. It's going to have to be a 3-parter. I mean, or like what specific part of Ultimate Warrior's life and career are you going to cover in one episode? Because you can't just breeze through that shit. Even as good of a wordsmith as he is, Chris Jericho is not going to be able to properly enunciate and just be able to hit all those points. And no matter how many, silhouetted stunt doubles you've got, it's just not going to work. So, I mean, that one, I'm really curious to see just on how they're going to structure that one. Because it sounds like a absolute, nightmare to try. Baby Dro, 333. Love your vids, man. What's your favorite pay-per-view from the Ruthless Aggression era? Ooh, good question. I would say probably SummerSlam 02 is a great Ruthless Aggression one. Mania 20, for all its little problems, has a lot of great things with it, good things with it. And so 20 stands out to me as one of my favorites. 19, of course, Mania 19 is one of my all-time favorites. Vengeance 03 is a banger. I've had a lot of people asking me for that one, and Armageddon 03. So look out for those in the near future. So yeah, thank you for that question. Cesar Lopez. Ooh, champion versus champion. CM Punk, AJ Styles' second championship run. Now that'd be interesting because they both had some beefy title runs. That'd be pretty good. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to take this pen and I'm going to write it down. This is Styles' second WWE. There we go. It's on ink and paper now. In my chicken scratch. Only I will know what it says. Matsuki, $10. Bummed I'm dropping money on Friday, but I completely understand. Any recommendations for what to read, watch, or keep up on the weekly shows without having to actually watch? Who else is dropping their coverage of Raw and SmackDown in the YouTube verse? Isn't like Cultaholic not doing it anymore and Simon Miller stopped? Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one who's not doing this shit anymore, who feels it's not worth my time. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Steven Larson are still doing it. By the way, you've got to go check out the Friendoland channel, and Wrestling Channel News is a new little short bit with Steve, perfectly parodying the just terrible like regurgitating of news and rumor stuff with terrible pictures and graphics and everything, and just bad voice and everything. It's such a pitch perfect parody of that, and it's so funny. I was mad at myself this afternoon thinking, damn it, why didn't I think of that? That's so just brilliant. So bravo Steven Larson for that. I don't know if they're doing Raws and SmackDown still. Somebody's got to. Someone from the wrestling YouTube world's got to step up where the OGs are falling off because they're too tired of doing it. Parker Soul saying $5. Yes, Bianca and Banks will be the first WrestleMania headlined exclusively by Black WWE superstars. That's pretty cool. And like, sucks it took us 37 years to get there. But I think it's, and for that reason, I think it should be a main event. That's really cool. Again, my one problem is it's just fucking, they didn't build it that way. They did a really bad job with that. Sad but true. Adam, I want your thoughts on tonight's GCW RSP ring break. That's for Ricky Shane Page. Our spring break at the end of the Cage Page Max. John Moxley showed up on there. What's my thought? Good. You mean Gage? Yeah, you mean Gage and Page. Yeah, John Moxley working GCW. That'd be pretty cool, man. I know that GCW is doing more Vegas shows. Moxley lives in Vegas now, and yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening. I could see Moxley being more involved in GCW, kind of getting back to his like deathmatch roots and stuff, like CZW style. Like GCW was formed because of the problems with CZW. So as someone who used to work in CZW, I'm sure Moxley would appreciate this new refreshing look on that style. So I'll have to read more about that, but thank you for the heads up. Yeah, I mean, Mania weekend, man, where magic still happens, even in their pandemic. But thank God for Florida and their lax rules. Daniel Anglade. Here's the final SmackDown review for now. Yes. And like I said at the top of this review, this is the final one right now. Who's to say in a couple of years I don't get the desire or the time to decide to do it again? Who knows? And the reason I say me is because, you know, for all the people who get mad at me for not wanting to do these reviews anymore, which I've been getting some comments on that for the last couple of weeks, it's like, what do you suggest? What do you suggest? Because I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing this for my mental health and my energy. And this is not directed at you, Darnell. I'm not mad at you, Darnell. So you're fine. Thank you very much, Darnell. But I'm just at the whole thing where people are like, oh, you're not reviewing shows anymore. You're getting lazy. You're forgetting what brought you to the dance. I actually had a comment from some asshole today who actually said, you're leaving what brought you to the dance. And this is a response to my Jervis and Levi video I posted. You're not reviewing shows anymore, but you're doing this on self-promotion. But you know, no, I'm doing this for me. That's why I'm not reviewing the shows anymore. And yeah, God forbid I take some time to get into something that I feel is more creatively rewarding. Because right now, watching Raw and SmackDown every week to review for work, very passive, busy work. And that does not, I'm kind of like getting tired of that. So that's, that's a reason I'm not doing it anymore. It's just because I don't want to use the B word. I don't want to say I'm burned out, because I'm not. I'm just trying to take better care of myself, my mental health, and I think this is a way to do that. And so it's not permanent. Not in theory. It could come back. We just don't know when. And y'all don't like the people that I hire to do it. And I would say offer a solution. If you don't, it's a whole thing where, you're not reviewing the shows anymore. Well, then you better come up with a solution. Like, can you hire somebody who's going to be universally loved from the get-go to do this thing? Or are you going to give me just all this more time? Is there more than 24 hours in the day you can just kind of hand to me so I have the ability to do that, to sleep if I have to or want to? Come on. Mike, I'll tell you more about how I feel, like that might come up a couple times in the course of this stream. Michael Painter, who do you think would have been pushed as the next big guy if John Cena didn't work for WWE? For me, it's Batista. Batista, they could have pushed him earlier. If Lesnar stuck around, then maybe we would see. Who knows what would have happened if Lesnar decided to stick around and didn't take his newly bought private jet and leave for the NFL. So that I'm trying to think. There's like literally no one else. But Lesnar and Batista, like you said, and like maybe Orton, but like that was a long time coming for Orton, so he wasn't ready. That's pretty much it, honestly, from like that crop of guys. No one else I could think of. Corey Soniat with a sweet Gambit avatar and $20. The super chat, thank you. Hey Zayn, I quit watching wrestling in 2000-ish, came back in 2014, found your channel not too long after. Your top 8s and your classic reviews really caught me up on what I missed. Just want to say thanks for years of great content. Well, thank you, Corey. Thank you very much for the super chat donation. Excuse me. And thank you for your support. And like, I don't want this. Like, there is this perception, I get the feeling, based on some of these negative Nancy's in the comment section, that like, oh, this is the end of the channel. No, it's why? Because I'm not going to be reviewing a couple of shows that people aren't watching anyway. Like, that's going to be the end of the channel, is me just kind of saying, fuck off. I'm not going to waste my time with these anymore. So no, it's not the end. And like, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate the content that has come out so far in these first 7.5 years, or 7 and change or whatever. And we're not done yet. Like, I'm far from over. I could pull up my Google Doc right now, all the stuff I have planned throughout the rest of this year alone. Like, we're not stopping. I'm just not fucking around with Raw and SmackDown anymore. There's a difference, okay? And that will allow for more things like Kayfabe Kitchen, more Do It For The Content, a lot of other things. I will tell you, hang on, let me just pan over here to this. I don't know if you can see, I've got like 10 or 12 fucking like board games and card games and all sorts of whatsits and collectibles sitting here in this cabinet, in that rack of things I've been dying to play for this channel and I've never had the time to do. And so, like, things are opening up, I'll say. And the likelihood of me doing those things and putting them on camera, it's a bit greater now that I have maybe some evenings freed up on Mondays and Fridays. Like, the possibilities of where we can go after this is really limitless. Much like Keith Lee, who is rather limited right now in his opportunities. So it's a bit ironic. Dale Larson, 5 New Zealanders, 5 Kiwis, 5 fuzzy Kiwis in my hand. Here in New Zealand, they are going to play both nights of Mania in the cinemas. Ooh, that sounds fun. I know WrestleMania playing in the movie theaters has been a thing for a long time, since the beginning. I would love to do that. That sounds like a really fun time. Like, you get the crowd experience, you get this communal shared experience with people, but you're not in this giant ass arena where it's like you gotta wait 100 years to get to the bathroom or get concessions, and you still have to pay out the ass for concessions, but at least it's not a huge wait. But yeah, good for you, man. I hope that the theaters are safe, and I hope you have some fun. There's lots of people there. Joey Gello, or it's Jello, Joey Jello, $3.99. This show didn't feel like a go home show. I hear that a lot, and I say that sometimes as well. And I guess we need to figure out what our definition of a go-home show is, or what makes a good go-home show. Like, I guess it's just a matter of, like, are you compelled to buy this pay-per-view? And I guess that's a matter of personal preference if what they're doing affects that for you. But, I mean, they covered as many bases as they possibly could between Raw and SmackDown. I don't think there was a match they didn't talk about. So in that way, I think that they did fine for go homes, but it's a matter of like, yeah, some of these matches don't really fucking matter. Some of these matches aren't that interesting. So it's like, you can only do so much with it. So, I mean, I don't know. What makes it a good go home show? Do we get a big, stare down at the end? Do we get a Pier 6 brawls? We cut to black? Like, I don't know. What do y'all think makes a good go home show? Let's put those in the chat, and I might get to those as we go through here. Oh, fuck, what happened? I hate when like the scroll, like the chat is like, oh, I'm going to refresh, go all the way to the, go all the way to the end. Where'd it go? Good, great googly moogly. I don't know what happened. Just a second. Let me check this window here because this will tell me. Oh, no, now you're not going to tell me either? Really? We're going to have that? We're going to do this now? You're going to do this now, man? Technical difficulties. Oh, here we go. Okay. Joey Gello. Show me Heisensall. Okay. I can't pull up Heisensall's thing on this, but I'll read it to you. Heisensall, $10. I have a funny story where a buddy of mine got into an argument with a friend of his over Billy Gunn's music, where his buddy insisted that it went, I'm a nice man. Boop, boop. Yes, I'm a nice man. It does kind of sound like that. There's some weird lines, man, in Billy Gunn's themes. There's this is not Ass Man, but in I've Got It All, for when he's the one Billy Gunn, there's a line of his where it's like, it's the same vocalist too, I think, for Ass Man. So there's like, so give in to your emotion and immergible. Like, what does he say? Because I got it all. Like, he's saying, so give in to your emotion. I'm a dirigible. Maybe the singer is just a hot air balloon. He's a blimp, and he's just telling us. I don't know. But that line, go listen to it. Prove me wrong. Like, find out what that word is, because it's not English. I don't know what that's about. Let's see here. Scrolling down a little further. Here we go. Now we're caught up. Lucas Hamilton, $5. I feel the only woman that's had any kind of legitimate program has been Alexa Bliss. That's not true. I mean, Alexa is probably one of the only ladies on either show right now who's doing something and she's not feuding with another woman or she's not fighting for a championship. So in that respect, Alexa is very unique at this point. So I wouldn't say she's the only one with any kind of legitimate program. You can count Sasha and Bianca as legitimate. It's not the best booked, but it's legitimate. Same with Asuka and Rhea Ripley to an extent, even though that feels a bit rushed compared to the SmackDown equivalent. So yeah, I would say she's just one of the few ladies who have legitimate programs. Let's put it that way. I don't think the tag team turmoil thing is what you would call a legitimate program. Parker Soul saying $5. Have I heard of Tom Segura's thoughts on pro wrestling? They aren't nice. That name sounds really familiar. I wish I could remember who that was or what he said. Maybe I'll go back on it, but I don't have any thing to say on it, honestly. Let's see here. DJ Domino, $5. Oh, you'll be at Mania. I'll send you some 4K clips if you want to use for review. I appreciate that, but history has shown me fan footage can get you in hot water on YouTube too. Just because you filmed it doesn't mean you own it, because in WWE land, like, they technically own all that footage. That's their claim, at least. I've had like my fan vlogs like blocked because of that. So don't, is my suggestion to you. I appreciate it, but I don't need it, and I don't want either of us to get in hot water with Big Google, let's just say. Pedro Lima, hey Brian, which young stars do you see making it big in WWE? Matches you see headlining WrestleMania 10 years from now? I don't even know what you could do 1 year from now for WrestleMania. I have a strong feeling Tyler Bate is the future of WWE, even at his height. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Bate is awesome. He's super young. Pete Dunne, I can see kind of moving up the ranks, doing well for himself on the main roster. You've got, I mean, if they decide to give a shit about Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, maybe. I can see it's hard to predict 10 years. You look at the landscape now of guys who've been in the company, who are doing it right now, and how long they've been in it, a lot of them for a decade or more. It's not that impressive a stat anymore. When I first started watching wrestling, it was a big deal when guys like Billy Gunn and The Undertaker were around for, do you remember the Decade of Destruction? They made a huge deal about 10 years. Wow, 10 years. Now, like, every other guy in WWE has been around for at least 10 years or more. It's not a huge thing anymore. So it's hard to predict then like who's going to stick around and that sort of thing. But as far as other stars, like I think Bianca Belair has a lot of upside. I think that you could get some other ladies from NXT. Shotzi Blackheart could be a great star. My boy T-Thatch, I hope he does well for himself. Yeah, man, like if they can do something with Keith Lee, I mean, that's just you're sitting on money right now with him, I think. Let's see here. Somebody wants to ask, is there a WrestleMania watch along? There will not be a watch along, but I will probably record some reactions, is the best thing that I can describe. Ken Terminated is back. I'm trying to convince you I'm one of the biggest Wrestling with Regret fans. I believe it, Ken. Thank you. I appreciate your fandom. I really do. Am I a hip-hop mark? Would DMX or Tupac be one of my favorites? I assume that's what you meant. I didn't think you were splitting X-Pac into two people. I mean, I'm the whitest guy I know. And so as far as like my favorite rap artists, like who I've listened to and who I've liked, NWA, obviously. This would be a weird go from NWA to Joe Budden, but Joe Budden, I owned his first album and it was good. So, and the only reason I knew about Joe Budden was Def Jam Vendetta. Video games are a gateway to everything you could think of, man. It's how I got into football. It's how I got into wrestling. It's how I got briefly into rap. It was the Def Jam video games. So there you go. But I like some of Tupac's songs. Hadn't heard enough of DMX to really know for sure. There's X gonna give it to you, but like everyone knows that song. It's kind of a meme, and that's not like indicative of his actual style. So I don't want to try and judge based on that. Hector Rodriguez, what's my experience been on Peacock? I mean, honestly, like the brief time I used Peacock last night for night 2 of Stand and Deliver, I didn't have a problem. And my wife tried Peacock for a bit a few months ago, and she hated it because it would just like constantly buffer and she couldn't watch consistently. And we checked our internet, and I think it was just on the Peacock side. So we don't know, man. I mean, I've not really delved into the network on Peacock enough yet to really determine that experience and what it's like. Melvin Johnson, thanks for the content. Your Seawalk was clean as fuck. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The Seawalk was one of my proudest things I did at the time when I wrestled. But I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore. The Gaming Shark TM, Gaming Shark TM, $1 Australian. It's the Gaming Shark. Thank you, Gaming Shark. Joey Jello, Wrestle Talk. Okay, Wrestle Talk does Raw and SmackDown still. They're still in the fight. Those lads from Britain, they're pulling through to the end. Let's see here. First Love, $5. You had your first shot this past Thursday. Sore arm, but all good. Yes, congratulations. I got my first microchip, vaccine, on Monday morning, actually. It was right here in this arm here, and it did hurt for a couple of days. I was really nervous I was going to get the flu-like symptoms because they say you can get that in the first shot even. And I was lucky enough it didn't happen. I got scared. Like that night, I was like, ooh, feeling a little achy, could be psychosomatic, I don't know. But then like I took ibuprofen at night and I woke up, I was fine. So, but yeah, I'm nervous about the second shot because my wife had it and like it knocked her ass out for like 2 days. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to pencil in. I'm not working on those days after the shot. I'm getting my shot like 5 days before I fly out to Baltimore for the ROH bubble. So that's another new development. As of this week, it's confirmed I'm going to be a part back in the ROH bubble, well, for the first time for me, but back working for ROH for the first time since Feb of last year, and I'm really excited for that one. So stay on the lookout for that. And speaking of ROH, you might have noticed a little cameo from Ian Riccaboni on today's video from Do It for the Content. Sean D, $2. The B word you're looking for is bored. Yeah, that's one of them for sure when it comes to like, it's not burnout. It was kind of boredom. I will admit. Dr. Dablia. Excuse me. Greetings from Mexico. Well, thank you, Dablia. I appreciate that. Mr. Dablia. Sounds kind of like scat. Dablia. Andy Man back again. One more super chat. I was thinking today maybe a top 8 for the best cowboy gimmicks. Ooh, there are a lot. God, you could name a lot off the top of your head. There's the Blackjacks, the new Blackjacks, Stan Hansen. Any more Blackjacks I'm forgetting? There's Hangman Page, Stan Hansen. There's scores of cowboys and stuff. Jimmy Wang Yang is one. I would argue he was a redneck, but he wore a cowboy hat, and so I think you could count that. Let's see here. Oh, where we go? There's the chat. Just decided to reset on me again. Wow, a lot of super chats tonight. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to try and get through these kind of quickly. There's a lot of them here, but thank you very much. Shadow Beast, if you feel like the reviews aren't worth it, then don't do it. Totally understandable. Do what's best for you. We'll still be here. Thank you very much, Shadow Beast. And I acknowledge and I understand the vast majority of my viewers have been very understanding of this break I've been going on for the last couple of weeks where I've been between seasons. I didn't put out a new classic review in the last 2 weeks, didn't put out a new long form in the last 2 weeks. And that was hard. I am such a workaholic and I feel so bad if I neglect what I think I'm neglecting my duties. So it's been very difficult, but at the same time, it's been very nice for me to just kind of not work as hard. I'm still working, but it's just in a different capacity. And it's just the time I've had off has been very helpful, and taking a break from Raw and SmackDown is part of that. And so yeah, I think I'm in a place now where I can get away with doing that essentially and not doing it. It's just not the greatest use of my time, and I appreciate that the vast majority of my fans understand that. Ken terminated once again. Am I still affected by the badass cold months ago? No, not really. Actually, the cough finally went away. That was a big lingering part for a while, but as you can see, I'm pretty fine and dandy now. Hugo Allen Steffens, 10 pounds. Can't wait to go back to do it for the content. The whole reason I discovered Levi Shapiro and Alley Cat. Yes, by the way, Alley Cat had her Real Hot Girl Shit show. That's the phrasing. She had her show called Real Hot Girl Shit, which happened today in Tampa. So congratulations to Allie for running that show. I'll miss Raw and SmackDown reviews, but I'm happier for you to put your mental health first. Yes. I mean, there's a part of me that's going to miss it too. Believe me, as someone who likes to hear myself talk, I really enjoyed talking smack about Raw and SmackDown every week because there was a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss and occasionally make fun of. And it was fun. It was fun, but then it got not fun to the point where it's why am I doing this? And yeah, there's a small part of me that misses it just for the view counts and the numbers and everything. I'm taking a bit of a hit. I'm aware of that. My numbers might not be the same as they were with all those videos, but again, I think I'm in a place where I can absorb that hit and be okay. Here we go. I love how to say this name out loud. Farts Piggy 66. Looks like you're standing in front of a bookshelf on a lake. I don't know what's going on with that picture. Love the content. Question: how do you approach showing wrestling to someone who doesn't watch? It's fake hurdle's the hardest. Well, I mean, if people aren't willing to open their minds to wrestling and they're going to shut it down as fake, then you're probably not going to have a great time trying to break through to them. That's kind of a lost cause. So I wouldn't even bother with that. But if you've got somebody who's a fan of the fanciful, the absurd, the downright irreverent and hilarious, and if they happen to maybe like sports too, I didn't give a shit about sports when I got into wrestling. All right, so it's a sports background or a sports fandom, not a requirement to become a wrestling fan. So if you know someone who likes goofy shit, and show them some goofy shit in wrestling. Show them some of the wildest stuff in wrestling. Show them Hell in a Cell. It's it's cliche for that to be the first match everyone sees, but it's it is that for a reason. It has all these different things going on. So yeah, it's hard, I don't bother with that anymore. People can approach me and tell me they're interested in wrestling. Let people come to you. Don't try and set something up for somebody if they're not into it. That's my suggestion. Jakey Boy does stuff. Love your stuff. I've been watching since a year after you made your channel. Can you talk about your experience with Taz? I mean, it's not much of an experience. It may have been overblown a bit, but no. What happened was I did my Taz review, Taz in WWE, in my first year of doing the channel. 2 or 3 years pass, nothing I hear, and then finally, and I can remember this very vividly. Jay Biggs and I are driving to Money in the Bank in Las Vegas, 2016, and we are driving through. We're going through Tonopah, which is the midpoint, basically. Driving through Tonopah, Nevada. I got a DM from Taz, and he just goes, "Geez." Actually, hang on. Give me a second. I got to get a costume piece for this. Because then you'll get the full experience. Okay. Here I am with these officially licensed Taz shades. So here you go. So he DMs me, and he goes, "Geez." And I go, what's up, Taz? Like, what's going on? Like, what's this I see you doing this video, Cole? This video making fun of me and saying I didn't amount to nothing in WWE, Cole. He said Paul Heyman only worked with guys who can make him look good. Oh, it shows you what you know. You're a punk-ass fan. And I would go, well, Taz, you know, like, no offense, and I know it's not apples to apples, but like I'm also involved in wrestling. It wasn't out of disrespect. I don't think I'm being controversial when I said that, you know, like, you didn't have a great run as a wrestler in WWE. And, you know, but I told him, like, you know, I'm in the biz. I'm not just some know-it-all fan or whatever, but like, you know, so I'm like, you know, I have experience in this. And he goes, he says, well, that just makes it worse, Cole. You can't do that either. You can't make fun of wrestling as a fan. You can't make fun of wrestling as a person in the business. These aren't his words, but I'm extrapolating from him and his fucking bullshit whining about it. So he basically just gets mad at me and he goes, I have a massive platform on CBS and I will never discuss you on the show, Cole. And that was basically the extent of our exchange on Twitter on DMs, where he's just like, tell me I'm nothing and I'll be nothing, and I'm never going to be talked about in his podcast / radio show ever again. You know, what's funny is this guy who claimed to have such a huge platform on CBS or whatever, like The Rock did the promo contest, and Taz is like, Taz is going, he stole my idea, Cole. He stole my Rock the promo thing. And then The Rock, with the burn of the fucking millennium going, he tweets and he goes, I didn't even know you had a show. Like, come on. So that's my experience with Taz. And then I decided to take the piss out of him with a Raven review. See, Heisensall, do I think Billy Gunn is a more talented Ed Leslie? That's not fair to Billy Gunn. Jesus. Yeah, Billy had to share bad gimmicks. He's way more talented than Beefer. For sure. Where are we here? Silver Wings, what's my opinion on dangerous e-wrestlers? Dangerous wrestlers. Well, I mean, I guess dangerous is a form of opinion. Like, who specifically is a dangerous wrestler? Like untrained wrestlers? I don't have a good opinion of them. They should not be wrestling if they're not trained, or if they're sloppy or something. Like, they should go back and train some more, is my opinion on dangerous wrestlers. Jeebus Matoy, $5. With Ozzy Osbourne now in the Hall of Fame, why is Motorhead still MIA? Good question. Yes, I thought about that, actually. I mean, I figure ultimately it's up to the inductee or the person who's being inducted to, to accept it. So maybe they've been offered it, they don't accept it. I don't know. But yeah, Motorhead's still one of those big holdouts. Yeah, I think Ozzy should be inducted just for his biggest contribution is Iron Man as Legion of Doom's theme back in the day. So yeah, he deserves to be inducted. Absolutely. What was funny was seeing them retroactively adding like 2020 class people, like the Warrior Award participant for, I think Titus was supposed to be last year's recipient. And so they said, oh, he's the 2020 award recipient. Here's the 2021. I know you had to combine them, but they had to add more people retroactively to the first year. I thought it was kind of funny. Oh, where are we at now? Oh, for flip's sake. What just happened? Okay. Samuel Newsome, $4.99. What's my favorite finisher? Backdrop driver or Kevin Steen's package pile driver? My favorite finisher is probably just like the Kane's tombstone. Honestly, the jumping tombstone was pretty sick. Any of Walter's boots, his big boots, which aren't finishers, but they look like it. They should be. Sebastian Perez found the Billy Gunn lyric. So give in to your emotions and let your envy fall. That's not what that. No, I refuse to believe that's the lyric. It doesn't sound like that. Because I got it all. I still think he's a dirigible. I think he's a blimp. So. Bob Orton, James Storm, Dusty and Dick Slater. Yes, of course. Murdoch, I'm sorry. And there's Dick Slater too. Hector Rodriguez. If Vince hadn't messed with ECW, could it have been a successful third brand? I mean, in that sense, I mean, the biggest problem ECW had as a third brand was its name was ECW. And there was always going to be the comparison to the original ECW, and they could never match that because it wasn't the same thing. And ECW in WWE was closer to NXT than it was to ECW. And so if they just embraced the NXT thing from the get-go, or, did something else with the ECW brand, then I think it wouldn't have been as controversial or wouldn't have been as like tainted. So I think it was a successful third brand for all intents and purposes, and the people they brought in with it. The name was the biggest hurdle for people to really accept it. Sean D, is Stone Cold a cowboy? Ooh, only missing the hat. No, I would say Austin is a redneck, not a cowboy, which are two different things. I may be a city slicker. I may be a northern city boy with a non-regional dialect, but even I know a difference between a cowboy and a redneck, and Steve Austin is a redneck. Random Tough Muffins, $20. Hey, Z-Man, just wanted to tell you we love you. Well, I love you too, Random Tough Muffins. Thank you very much for that pledge. That warms the cockles of my heart. Ken Terminated once again. What's my most underrated impression of a superstar? You all tell me, because I've done a few of them, and I usually abandon them after one take if I don't like it. My Piper, don't be such a yo-yo. Dusty Rose, Dick Murdoch being my top 10 cowboy gimmicks. Yeah, I hated my Albano impression at first. I even did the first time I did it for Body Slam. I ended the video with, and that was the worst Lou Albano impression in the history of the world. The end. But it stuck, and it was my longest, most endearing impression. So I don't know. Let's see here. Darnell Anglade. When I put my personas in a universe mode. I tried doing that before, and then I got tired of trying to manage universe mode. So maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I have more time to do things, but that's not what I want to spend my time on is universe mode. Cheery, $5 R. Sorry I'm late. WWE just released a video revealing the Mania stage. Why don't you react live? Why don't I? Let's do that. Let's just bust this out on the YouTubes. WrestleMania 37 set. This is very compelling live video you're watching here on the YouTubes. Of course, there's an ad. Of course, I can't skip it. Thanks, YouTube. Everyone, they gotta make their money somehow. Yes, I saw one quick drone picture of it from the daytime of the ship. So here, this is me do my reaction to the stage presentation. Okay, hi Kayla, hi Corey, fast forward. Okay, here's the ring with the cage, the pillars, there's the logo. World Champion Buccaneers, what a weird fucking sentence that is. Pillaged and plundered, okay. Let's just jump ahead. Fire the cannons, here we go. Pyro. Yes, sirree. I like that set quite a lot. That looks very, very nice. I will admit there was a bit of a sense of FOMO for me this year for WrestleMania, seeing the people there in Tampa and everything and wrestling happening. I do feel a bit missing out on it. Obviously last year was a different story, but 2 years ago I was in the thick of it. And I love WrestleMania weekend. I love being part of that. I probably just got this video blocked because I played that fucking song, but it was behind the mic, so I don't know. We'll see. There we go. That's my reactions. To be fair, my Facebook profile pic is of me and Ed Leslie when I met him in a minor league baseball game. Hey, if I met Brutus Beefcake in a minor league baseball game, I would take that picture and have it for posterity as well. Canalist, €2. Opinion on Triple H from 99 to 01. I got that he was good in the ring, but I didn't care for his character. I thought he was. I didn't care for him. I thought he was just he wasn't a very interesting guy. He was just himself, and I was that didn't jive with me. And now, as I look back later, I'm oh, he just basically stole Shane Douglas's gimmick from '98, almost down to the same look and clothes. To watch Shane Douglas when he's champion in '98 and watch Triple H in '99 when he becomes a champion the first time. There's so many similarities there in terms of what they talk about and how they talk. They even grunt the same half the time. It's crazy. Shit. There we go. Jakey Boy does stuff. Rock with the burn of the century. What's been my best experience meeting a wrestler? I think is what you meant to ask. I've had just really good experiences with a lot of wrestlers. I don't think I've ever had too many bad ones. Gangrel's cool. Cody is cool. Mustafa Saeed is cool. I've met a lot of A lot of great folks, man. Like, I think wrestlers, by and large, have better reputations than you think, except for Austin Aries. Fuck him. First Blood 400, PHP 250. I don't know what denomination that is, but thank you. Got any good backstage stories working in ROH? How do I bring out those super chats? This is a StreamYard feature. I mean, I don't have too many crazy stories about ROH, but one of my favorites was from when they did Unauthorized in Columbus, Ohio 2 years ago. And the semi-main was this like 10-man tag team match with like Brian Johnson and SOS and like a couple other people. And then they like all bailed on Johnson. And it was him against Cole Cabana, Ian Riccaboni, Gary Juster, Gator, the photographer, the videographer, and like one other person who I can't remember now, but like everyone, Todd Sinclair, the referee, and everyone got their shit on Brian. And like Todd Sinclair did a leapfrog, and Ian Riccaboni with like a picture perfect fucking elbow drop from the top. And what was great about that was I was in the backstage area. I'm looking around, and it's the phrase locker room sellout is what that was, because everyone was watching the monitor for that one. And you know, the pops that were in the backstage area when that match was going on, I would argue were louder than the crowd reactions out there in the audience. It was a magical moment watching that match. And then getting to call the main event right afterward with PCO and Dan Moff was amazing too. So like that was all the endorphins were running high. Hector Rodriguez, you wouldn't have ads if you had YouTube Premium. Thank you, Hector. Now with the money I'm making off tonight's super chat, maybe I'll afford YouTube Premium. We got 2 left, and I'm going to stop because I'm running late here. Jed Lockett Productions with the oddly specific number of 552. Thanks for the videos. You're one of my favorites on YouTube. Can you explain your process for classic pay-per-views? My process is, everyone on Patreon gives me the names of the shows, and I put them in this big ass like Word document, this list. And either it'll be because the time of the year is relevant, or because I just feel like it, or I want to do some kind of series on something, I'll just kind of pick at random. I try not to stay in one year too long or stay in one company for too long. I try and bounce around, and there's really no rhyme or reason for it, but like the longer I've been doing it, the more I want to try and have some connectivity and some thread with what I'm doing. Thank you very much, though. Sebastian Perez, re-listen to the song. He does say that, but he says Envyfall as one word. Envyfall. Envyfall sounds like some kind of like spaceship name in like a MMO or something like a Lord of the Rings fucking thing. I don't know. We must ride to Envyfall. Alex Johnson, seeing into wrestling and Homestar Runner. How do we convince Rey Mysterio to draw a Strong Bad Man outfit? Steiny. Yeah, fuck, man. I want to see Strong Bad get his due, man, in a legitimate wrestling organization. Get Rey to have the Strong Bad look for Mania. Yeah, so I think that's gonna be it. Like, I'm seeing some hellos. Like, y'all, you came late to the party, man. I'm almost done here. This is the final SmackDown review, and I'm tired. And I mean, I want to go all night. And believe me, woo, I can go all night long. But I gotta start wrapping this up because this has just been. I'm doing what my body and my mind are telling me to do. Go home and be a family man. I'm gonna spend my Mondays and Fridays, not doing this all the time. And I love the live shows. Don't get me wrong. I want to do more live stuff because this tonight's been great. And I'm just really excited for WrestleMania this weekend. Not thrilled that it's 2 nights. I'd rather just bang it out in one. But, it is what it is now. But this is the final SmackDown review. And I just did the final Raw review. And I don't think I articulated enough in that video how grateful I've been for the opportunity to even have this series and be able to review Raw and SmackDown pretty much nonstop since 2016. It sounds insane, but it's time for a break. It's time for a new direction. This channel's not going away. This channel is in such a good place right now, I feel. And so Raw and SmackDown reviews, they're fine, but they're not what drive this channel. It's the other things, and you guys drive this channel. And so I'm really appreciative. So thank you all for everything you do to help me keep going. And SmackDown and Raw, I'm not covering them anymore, but I'm covering NXT and AEW, still doing classics, still doing modern pay-per-views. You're going to see very little difference in what I actually do cover on this channel. And you'll see some new things as well. Go check out today's Do It For The Content video, because 1 week from today, you will see the YouTube Championship defended, Levi Shapiro defending against Gentleman Jervis. Next Wednesday, this shit pile of a movie, Ultimate Deathmatch 2, gets its just desserts and gets reviewed. What else to talk about? We got Mania. Got Mania happening Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday night, Sunday morning, you'll see the WrestleMania Night 1. Sunday night, Monday morning, you will see WrestleMania Night 2. That's what I got on the docket. And now what I got next is I got to refill this water bottle because I am hella parched. And always remember, folks, the influencer loves you. And you know what? It's not a goodbye because I'm still around. You'll see me and we're going to have a lot of fun because that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years. And we're going to keep on doing it. Thank you so much. I'm Brian Zayn and I'll see you next time.